The content in this video may trigger some viewers and listeners. Our guest Daisy Page speaks about her book Unexpected Moments, an autobiography about life of sexual, physical and emotional abuse.
Welcome to another episode of Healing Through Love. Each week, we share ideas, experiences and resources to increase the awareness of domestic and family violence and to empower survivors to grow and thrive. We talk with experts who share their advice, or with people who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey. This is all about healing through love. And now, here are your hosts, Charlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Healing Through Love podcast. My name is Charlene Lynch from charlenelynch.com. Healing Through Love is a social enterprise whose vision is to shift awareness on domestic and family violence within the community and to support victims and survivors. Our mission is to provide family and domestic violence survivors with a soft place to land by offering services available to them and their families. We interview experts and survivors who share their personal stories and offer advice to those who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on the healing journey. As well as the Healing Through Love podcast, we hold annual Pamper Days here in Adelaide and also Tasmania for survivors of family and domestic violence. Our local businesses get together to pay it forward. They have their services on show and help people for the day. Think giant day spa, where we have facial massages, we might have skincare, hair care, makeup, we might have, you name it, it's all happening. Normally we have 25 different exhibitors and it's provided free for our participants, and it doesn't matter where they are on their healing journey, we nurture them through that beautiful day of all about them, of all about self-care. And we're very excited to be able to produce that on an annual basis to local participants. Now today we've got a very special guest, and her name is Daisy, and she's Daisy Page, and Daisy's from she's from the USA. So we're going to have a chat about that, and she can tell us exactly where she's from. Daisy's written a beautiful book called Unexpected Moments, and today we're going to dive in deep to her book and have a chat about her next book. So without any further ado, hi Daisy, how are you?
I'm great, Charlene. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
It is such a privilege and pleasure to have you with us. Now, you're from Texas, is that right?
That is correct.
I love it. I wonder if Texas could be the sister city to Adelaide, because it's dry and hot here. And isn't it dry and hot there in Texas?
It's very dry and hot. I'm thankful that it's fall weather now. I love that crisp fall air. Cools it off a little bit.
And so we're in spring right now. So we've got very volatile weather. It can be 12 degrees one day and then it can be 26 the next. So it's up and down like a yo-yo. But I love it. And it's great that we can connect here on Zoom together in a different time zone, a different country, and feel like we're still in the same room. I love it, Daisy.
I do too.
And now I understand that you've had a journey to get to where you are right now. And I would just love for you to dive in deep to have a conversation about your book. Can you talk to me about how you came to write a book? And then, can we dive in a little bit deep to have a look at what's in the book?
Absolutely. Well, last year I was diagnosed with a rare terminal condition known as MSA or multisystem atrophy. After I received this rare diagnosis, I had a vision from God who told me that my time was near, but I must tell my story from the beginning first. So my doctor had told me to take each day like it was my last and live it out the fullest as I could because they were going to be limited. I wanted to go see my best friend in Vermont, but she developed COVID, so we weren't able to go there. and we were passing by a church in our hometown and noticed on the sign that Kirk Cameron was going to be there. So my mom and I went, and we got VIP tickets, so we got to go up and get our pictures taken with him and ask him questions. And so I gave him a bracelet, this defeatmsa.org bracelet about the condition. He asked me a little bit of information about it, so I let him know that, it's terminal. And I told him about what God had said, that my time was near and I needed to share my story with the world, basically. But I wasn't sure how to do it. And Kirk said, I think you should write a book. I said, well, I don't know how to write. I've only written a poem my whole life. He said, you don't have to. God will give you the words. Just pray about it. And so I did. The next day, I started writing. And the words just flew out of me, they just came out onto the computer screen. And it was very therapeutic at this time as well. But I devoted 2 to 3 hours a day, praying every day, for God to give me those words. And when I met Kirk, it was in October. January, um, I had finished writing my book. And Kirk told me I just keep him updated on it. And when I finished it, he asked me to send him my manuscript. And so I did, and he sent me back a beautiful foreword. I sent it to the publisher, and in March, my book was published.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so the book is of your life story, is it?
Yes, it is.
And so what's the title, Daisy? Tell us about the title.
It's Unexpected Moments by Kirk, and forward by Kirk Cameron is on there. So because that beautiful forward that he gave me. I don't know if in Australia if y'all are aware of who Kirk Cameron is, but he's an evangelist now. He goes around the U.S. and gives speeches or preaches about the Lord. And he was a very teenage heartthrob back in the 80s and 90s. He played on a hit series called Growing Pains. So he's an actor as well. He's played in Fireproof and Left Behind 1, 2, and 3. So it was very awesome privilege to meet him and to be able to get my picture made with him and just for him to pray for me and to help me, give me the motivation to write a book, which is something I never thought I would do.
I love it. So can you explain the title Unexpected Moments? Like what is that about? What are unexpected moments?
Well, I guess as humans, we all have every moment is unexpected. You don't know what's going to happen in a minute. You don't know what's going to happen next week or next month or next year. But my unexpected moments start when I'm a very young child. Each moment is some sort of abuse, and then finding out this rare terminal condition diagnosis, that was a very unexpected moment. So they're about bad moments in my life, but I had God there with me through the whole time.
Okay. And so you're working on another book as well.
Yes, I am. It's called Beyond Heaven's Gates. Since I wrote Unexpected Moments, I had been given visions and dreams of heaven. And so these glimpses that I've got, I've turned them into a book because I feel that the world is losing its faith in Jesus and in God. And he wants me to get the word back out that there is a heaven and there is an everlasting life. And people just need to get their faith, hold on to it and continue to hold on to it and spread it.
I love it. And so just looking at the book, who's the book for? Who should be reading the book Unexpected Moments?
The book I think should go to anyone that has experienced any kind of domestic abuse or sexual abuse, rape, or anything like that. I've experienced them all. I've experienced molested. I've been molested. I've been raped. I've been drugged. And I've experienced domestic violence. So I want the world, the women, and it can be men too, because they're abused, but anyone that is abused to know that they're not alone. There are others out there, and to mainly pray to God. He answers our prayers in one way or another. We just have to keep our ears and our eyes open because He doesn't speak to us through our ears and we don't hear Him in our head, but we hear Him in our heart. So keep your heart open and listen for His words to help you with any circumstances you may be in.
And we were talking before the show that the main message of your book is in and around forgiveness. So can you talk a little bit about forgiveness?
Yes, I have forgiven all of those who have harmed me. In my book, is where I go about that because I got that message from God, you must forgive to be forgiven. Um, so I've forgiven everyone that has harmed me. It was kind of difficult when I got to the chapters of those abusers and what had happened. But I am talking with a Christian therapist weekly, and I have been for 5 years now. And she helped me through those chapters. And it was very therapeutic, but it was not, I'm not gonna lie, it was very hard. And what I did was I wrote letters to everyone that had brought harm to me and burned them. And that writing them in the story, it kind of might write it out. We don't have that weight here anymore. It's gone. It came out into the book and brought peace to me.
And before the show, we were talking about starting with forgiveness, starting with yourself and forgiving yourself.
Yes.
And can you talk a little bit about like self-forgiveness?
Yes. And as a victim, we tend to blame ourselves for any abuse that we receive. We blame ourselves for putting ourselves in that place or that position. We blame ourselves as, well, if I wouldn't have done this, then it wouldn't have happened. It's not your fault. First of all, before you forgive anyone, you should forgive yourself because it isn't your fault. You weren't the one that brought harm to yourself. Your abuser did. So don't blame yourself. I know it's very hard not to, but don't do it.
That's so true. We need to live in a place of forgiveness for ourselves and also for those around us. And it does. I know as a survivor myself, it's challenging when you're still in the thick of things to even swallow that, to say forgiveness. Oof, how can I forgive? Yes, and out the other side, the journey's lighter. The journey is so much more comfortable, and it is that level of forgiveness that holds that thickness in our hearts that doesn't allow us to heal. So
Yes.
It really does make a huge difference coming from a place of forgiveness.
Especially when we have children involved, we need to think about those children and what we're putting them through. Do we want them to think that it's okay for someone to hit you or abuse you or treat you in that manner? No, we don't. We don't want them to grow up and think that it's okay because we want to stop that chain, get yourself out of there so you get those children out of there. Put them first. Forgive yourself because you didn't put yourself there. You didn't put your children there, and protect you and your child or children.
So true. So you're saying, Daisy, that how cathartic it is, how releaseful, how it's like been a journey of healing, just doing the process of writing the book, that it in itself has been very therapeutic. So, and you said that you spend 3 hours a day writing the book. And is that what you're doing currently for the new book?
It is. The new book's a little different. I'm just going to do a short story. on that, but it's going to also be a continuance of where unexpected moments dropped off. So, but it's called Beyond Heaven's Gates.
Oh, excellent. And so can we expect to see that book released?
I'm hoping by Christmas.
Excellent.
That's when I would really like it to be.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, us here at Healing Through Love would love to know about its release so that we can share it with our people. And yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. That's exciting. So what words of wisdom would we share with our listeners in and around your journey? How have you managed to keep going through everything that's happened?
Don't take your life for granted. Don't take the small things for granted. Simple basic daily tasks as in brushing your hair, washing your hair or yourself, walking for that matter. Before I was diagnosed with this condition, I could walk up 11 flights of stairs up to 3 times a day if I needed to. And I simply took life for granted. And if I could go back, that would be the one thing I would change. Maybe the abuse I'd like to change, but the one thing is not taking life for granted, because the abuse I feel brought me to be the person I am today. It made me strong, made me want to be independent and strong for my children and myself. But now I can't because of the diagnosis, and I have to rely on my husband 100% to help me brush my hair, give me baths, things like that, So just, yes, don't take life for granted. You never know, like I said, what will happen in a week, in a month, in a year. It could change in the blink of an eye, and it did for me.
It is. That's so important to be really mindful of every moment and live in that place of being very present and just living in a place of gratitude for everything, a cup of tea, the air that we breathe, the friends that are in our proximity, and coming from that level of gratitude is really going to raise our frequency, and that helps us heal when we raise our frequency. So I love it. I love it. So now you obviously have an active prayer life. And so can you talk to me a little bit about what your prayer life is like?
Sure. Well, I've had that ever since I was a child. Was raised in the church. My mother was the pianist. So I spent a lot of time at church during choir practices and such. But I went to church camp every summer. It was like my favorite thing. Couldn't wait for. My extracurricular activities included the Bible devotions. By the age of 10, I had already read the Bible from the front to the end. I loved learning about the Bible, and I won second place in a Texas State Bible drill, so that's a very big deal for here in Texas. But I started each morning with the Bible devotion, and if I happened to be running late, I made sure to put that in before I went to bed that day. Thank God for the day. This time I do the same. I have a Bible devotion on my phone that I read every morning. And then at night I have another one that I read, and I just pray for him, thank him for the day. In the morning I pray for ease of pain throughout the day, so I can have a pain-free day. And if I happen to do so, I make sure to thank him at night for that pain-free day. And even if I don't have a pain-free day, I thank him for having another day here with my husband.
And that is living in a place of gratitude. And the frequency of gratitude is right up there at 540 hertz, which is right next to joy and love. So just living at that high frequency helps you be the lovely person that you are. So unaffected by all of this, and so holding that beautiful place of healing and forgiveness and gratitude that is a shining light for others who are still going through the challenges to get to the other side. So that's lovely. I'm excited to read your book. I haven't read it yet. Can I ask where we can get it from?
Absolutely. You can go to my Facebook page, which is Daisy Page author, Daisy Page, author. And there's a link on there because it is quite a long link. Or you can go to Xlibris. It's Xlibris, and then go to their bookstore and search for it. Because if I give you that link, it's like long.
Well, we'll actually help out, and we'll make sure that for the podcast, it's in the show notes and it's also in the description. So on our YouTube channel and also on all of our platforms, we'll make sure the links are there. So you just have to press the button and make it easier for yourself.
That would be great.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Also, I would like to let everyone know that, one of my goals is to also create awareness for MSA, which is the rare condition that I have, because they don't have enough research on it to come up with a cure. So unfortunately, it ultimately leads to death, and life expectancy is 5 to 7 years.
And it's an autoimmune disorder, is that right, Daisy?
It is a neurological degeneration disorder. What happens is your brain, your autonomic functions is breathing and your circulatory system, like your blood pressure, it bottoms out. Like mine already, if I stand up, sometimes it's only like 65/52, So, and then I'll pass out. But breathing problems at night, my husband wakes me up constantly and tells me that I'm gasping for my breath, things your brain does for you that we don't have to think about, like your digestive system, things like that, all those autonomic functions, they start shutting down until ultimately it leads to death. And so 10% of my book proceeds go to the defeatmsa.org donate to us charity. And on November 19th, we're gonna a podcaster, inspire stories that inspire us, is going to host a Daisy-thon, which is other MSA patients that are going to come forward and share their experiences. And a defeatmsa.org director is going to be on and be interviewed. And it's just to create awareness and hopefully gather some donations in the same time to help with the research for the charity.
That's
And
amazing.
also, I'm going to be donating my brain to them after I pass. So that, bless you.
Thank you.
So that
okay, wow. Okay, that's huge.
It is. So, but they need to be able to research it, so they can further in their experience for a cure or some better treatment, because there's not really much treatment either.
No, and that organ donation is just a really hot subject for people. But the impact that it can make once you've passed, to donate every part of your body or any part of your body can mean life or death for someone else. So yeah, if you haven't considered being an organ donor here in Australia, you have it on your license. So, even if you're not conscious, it's written on your license. And if you're not already an organ donor, think about it. Do some research if you need to, but think about it and see if it could be an option, because that decision to do that could be life-saving for other humans.
Absolutely. That's my total belief. So I hope that they are able to find out something. I'll tell you, once I had a dream and my husband woke me up. I had fallen in the hallway, and I can't get out of bed by myself, or get up by myself for that matter. So, my husband, when he woke me up, I was in the hallway. He said, "You got up out of the bed and you ran." And I said, "I did what?" Because I knew I can't do that. So I told my doctor about it, and he said that was like, say you were in a national disaster, or something that uh your child was in danger. You know how mothers can lift a car up to get their child out, that sort of thing. It was an adrenaline rush, you know. So I said, well, maybe they need to make a little adrenaline pill for this disorder, and that will help us to regain some of our functions that we've lost. So, you know,
That's
anything like
fascinating.
that, and they are doing some trials that do consist of some kind of a where it does mess with the adrenaline gland. So I said,
Wow.
wow.
Wow, what a story. What a life. And that you've shared that here in Unexpected Moments, and an opportunity for others to heal through coming from a place of forgiveness and raising your frequency with gratitude. It is such a powerful experience to meet you and have these beautiful conversations. And I'm looking forward to not just this book, but the next book, which hopefully will be out by Christmas. And we'd love it if you'd share your links and details for your upcoming events with us so that we can share it with our network as well. It's been a privilege to chat with you today, Daisy. And just in passing and to say goodbye to everybody, it's a goodbye from here in Adelaide and over there in Texas from us, from me, Charlene Lynch from Healing Through Love, and Daisy Page. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Healing Through Love. You can get further resources, see the show notes, or simply reach out to us via our website at htlaustralia.org. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to your company next time on the Healing Through Love podcast.